Okay, so I did an episode a few weeks back looking at the super lightweight and pretty great value Sroad cassette. Now the shifting wasn't very good, and I didn't really like the cassette very much, but I think I missed something pretty vital. So let's cover that off today. Right then, so everybody knows getting out on the bike at this time of year when it's really cold and miserable outside is never easy. But today's sponsor, Siroko, are here to make things a little bit easier. So yeah, Siroko makes some wicked cycle clothing, and I've been wearing their stuff on every ride for over 2 years now. So when it's a little bit chilly outside, I started grabbing this. It's one of their M4 thermal jerseys, and I think this thing looks really nice. So the materials are really great quality. It's nice and stretchy and fits really well. Plus it's got these massive oversized deep pockets at the back here, and I've got my external mic in the middle there. Yeah. But if it's cold and wet outside, so I always grab this. It's one of their J1 cycle jackets. This thing is super warm and cozy, fits really well, and it's showerproof. Plus, it's like 50 quid at the moment. So yeah, bit of a bargain on this thing, if you ask me. Lastly, as we're heading into winter, you might want to check out their bib tights. So with the weather kind of turning lately, I've been wearing these, so they're BX Envelaria bib tights. These things have some really good padding in the bum. Plus they've got these windproof panels on the thighs and on the shins to keep you warm out and about. So yeah, if you did want to check out Siroko and get yourself kitted out for some winter cycling, then yeah, use my link in the description down below. Save yourself 10% off the entire site, and it also helps me out a little bit as well, which is cool. Yeah, anyway, enough of that, and let's have a look at this cassette. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another. I did not expect as many baguettes in the comments on the last video, but I absolutely loved it. Trace fellow production. My name, as always, is it's Luke. Right, quick summary for you. So these Sroad cassettes here, they are incredibly lightweight. So rather than being constructed of a series of steel plates that are then they're stacked on top of each other and pinned together, like the vast majority of cassettes that you can buy. This is actually constructed out of a single block of chromoly steel that's then milled out, and it basically makes for a cassette that's really lightweight and really durable as well. So I ran this one here for a couple thousand miles, and in the last episode on these cassettes, I showed that when you compared the shifting performance of this one to a Shimano Hyperglide cassette, a standard one from a 105 group set, the shifting on this Sroad cassette was, it was pretty dreadful actually, which is quite unfortunate. So yeah, check out this clip. It's the first one there, not quite made the shift. Oh, there we go, just about caught it, up again. Yeah, this is a prime example of what it tends to do when you're out and about. It's just, yeah, it's inconsistent. However, I swear that the shifting performance was actually pretty decent when I first started using that Sroad cassette, and looking at the comments on that video, a lot of people pointed towards my choice of rear derailleur being the kind of problem causing that poor shifting with the cassette. And thinking back, this does actually match up, because when I first started using the Sroad cassette, I was running a full Sensar Empire group set, and the rear derailleur design is slightly different. So let me show you this rear derailleur here and why this may be the issue causing that poor shifting. Okay, so this is the 105 R7000 rear derailleur that I used for testing in the last video. And with this group set generation, Shimano brought in what they call their shadow technology for rear derailleurs, and it essentially amounts to a new way, an updated way to mount the rear derailleur onto the bicycle. And what I'm concerned with in this instance is this little arm here, so this kind of extended arm for the rear derailleur. This, I believe, is called their shadow link. Now, if your bike supports a direct mount rear derailleur, you can actually omit this shadow link here. But because my bike uses a more traditional rear derailleur hanger style, I need to leave it on. And among other things, this link here, having this shadow link, it pushes the rear derailleur back somewhat and enables you to run cassettes with a larger maximum number of teeth. So it essentially means with this shadow design, I can run much larger range cassettes here than I otherwise would be able to using a standard rear derailleur. However, from reading the comments on that last video and from reading stuff myself, I'm led to believe that this kind of updated shadow link design for the new Shimano rear derailleurs, they heavily rely on the Hyperglide technology of Shimano cassettes to provide accurate and reliable shifting. So I bought myself this. So it's an Ultegra 6800 rear derailleur. So it's from the previous generation, and I got this on eBay for like 23 quid. So it doesn't have that new kind of shadow technology design for the rear derailleur. So I'm going to pair this up with this S-Road cassette and see if that solves the issue, because I really want to be able to use and recommend these S-Road cassettes because they're seemingly so well built and really lightweight and durable as well. So I'm going to stick these two on the bike behind me and see if I can get this to shift properly. Right, so just swapping over to the Ultegra rear derailleur here. Now this means recabling the whole mechanism because unfortunately the existing cable run was a little too short. But anyway, worth pointing out, as it's secondhand, I gave the derailleur a full service, completely disassembled and cleaned it out and replaced all the grease and everything, so should be good to go there. Also, for those wondering, the cassettes I'm using, I've paid for them myself, and they're exactly the same ones I used last time. So anyway, that is that. But if you did want to subscribe and maybe hit the like button while you're at it, yeah, that'd be amazing. It's just me doing all this stuff around here, so any help at all would be wicked. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, right, so I've got the Ultegra 6800 rear derailleur fitted to the back here, and it's a pretty clean install, so I'm happy with that there. And up the front here, I'm actually running sensor shifters. So I've done a video on these before, which I'll link in the top right-hand corner. But these are Sensor Team Pro shifters, and they're compatible with Shimano 11-speed setups. And I ran these with a 105 R7000 rear derailleur, and they worked perfectly. So you should have no problems working with this Ultegra one here. And the cassette I've got on the back, this is actually a Shimano cassette. So this is a 105 R7000 cassette here. So yeah, just as a baseline, this whole setup at the back should shift perfectly. So I'll test this and then we'll throw the S-Road cassette on for a comparison. So let's go. Okay, so I'm going to downshift, so essentially move up the cassette one gear at a time. So let's go, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, essentially shifting with this Ultegra rear derailleur and the Shimano cassette on the back here, not a problem at all. Nice crisp shifting, nice and precise, nice and quick. So yeah, let's throw the S-Road cassette on the back and see if it can match this performance. Okay, same as before, gonna downshift, so move up the cassette one gear at a time. So let's give that a go. That's 1 there, that's 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, you can see shifting is much better with this older style rear derailleur. Yeah, it's still not quite as good as the Shimano cassette, but it is much better. That much is, yeah, that much is very clear. So much happier with the shifting performance on this older style rear derailleur. So interesting results here, and I'm really glad I took the time to try this out again. So it's pretty obvious, and I tested it a lot more off camera as well, that changing over to this older style of rear derailleur has really helped the S-Road cassette out, and the shifting now is really good. Like I demonstrated in the last episode on this, the S-Road cassette, while really well made, does lack that kind of aggressive ramping and teeth profiles that you see on Shimano Hyperglide cassettes. So once again, the comment section was spot on. And if you're running one of the newer Shimano rear derailleurs with that shadow technology, they pretty much require a Shimano specific Hyperglide cassette to run properly. So what is the takeaway here? Well, if you do run one of the newer style Shimano rear derailleurs with that shadow technology, and I'll link a page in the video description with them all on, then yeah, stick with Shimano Hyperglide cassettes. However, like I've just demonstrated, if you run one of the older style rear derailleurs from Shimano, basically from these group sets or before, then you should be absolutely fine using S-Road cassettes. Now, in terms of raw shifting performance, I still think the Shimano cassettes just about have the edge, but when using these older style rear derailleurs, the S-Road cassettes come damn close, like 99% as good, really. Certainly good enough for me on the shifting performance. In addition, I haven't actually checked myself, but from reading the comments and talking to a few people, if you run a SRAM 11-speed group set, you should be absolutely fine with these Sroad cassettes. And Sensar and L2 group sets. If you run either of those, you should be fine as well. I'm pretty sure the shifting issues with these Sroad cassettes only really pertain to the newer style Shimano rear derailleurs that I mentioned. So there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks largely to the well-informed and frankly erudite comments section. Yeah, I think I've finally gotten to the bottom of the shifting issues with this Sroad cassette. Like I said the last time, I really want to be able to recommend this thing to you, and now I feel like I safely can. They're super durable, and you can easily drop like, well, close to 100 grams just slapping this thing on the bike. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm certainly going to be leaving it on the bike in this kind of setup for the foreseeable future. Right then, bit of a kind of detail heavy and techie episode this one, so thank you for kind of bearing with me. And thank you as well to everyone that was spamming baguettes in the comment section on the last episode. I could not stop grinning at the sheer volume of baguettes that were on display. So yeah, thank you for that. Genuinely made my week. So très bon, as they say in France. So yeah, maybe slam some more baguettes down there in the comment section. Let's keep this train. Let's keep it rolling. Anyway, that is all that we've got. So subscribe if you like this kind of thing. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode, and if you've got any questions or comments for me about this Sroad cassette, because it is quite nuanced, I suppose, then yeah, leave me a comment down below and I'll try to get back to as many of you as I can. Right then, it's 7:45. That is definitely a new record on a school night for me. Definitely time for a little cycle, I think. So time to get this thing out on the road, I think. Right. Anyway, that is all we've got time for. So I'll see you all in the next one. So see you later. Ciao, ciao. Hey. See you later. Okay, right, so a quick bonus clip at the end here for those of you that stuck around. So this is the bike that I built up in the previous episode. So it's using the super cheap carbon frame that I bought off AliExpress. So I think this carbon frame cost me 323 quid, I think it was. And yeah, I'm about 350 miles into it at this point. So I think I'll just give you a quick update. So the biggest change is actually this set of bars is new. So you may remember at the very end of that build video, I showed that the original bars here, these integrated carbon bars that I'd selected for the build, they developed a massive crack there after about 150 miles. So you can see that there's a massive crack around this stem clamp bolt here. Well, this, the steerer tube bolt, I suppose. But yeah, still, that crack, which goes all the way around, essentially means this set of bars is completely unsafe and unusable to use them now. So these are completely knackered. So I had to rip those off, which is quite annoying, and I replaced them with these. So these are from a brand called Aeronova, and I got these on AliExpress for like 55 quid. I'm happy with them. They certainly seem more robust than these ones down here, but I'm going to reserve judgment until I put a few more miles on them, but I'm certainly happy with them. The group set as well, this L2 RX 12-speed group set here, really happy with it. It shifts well, rides well. Yeah, for the price I paid for this thing, really happy. And I'm also using an Sroad 12-speed cassette on the back here, and it shifts really nicely. Helped, no doubt, in part by the fact that this is, again, a more traditional rear derailleur design, so it doesn't have that kind of shadow, pushed back standoff. It's a more traditional rear derailleur design, so shifting is nice. And the brakes as well, so these are the Z-Race hybrid hydraulic brakes. I'm happy with them, they're certainly good, but I need to replace them with the Juentech GTs because those have 4 pistons to push the pads onto the disc, whereas these ones only have 2. So I'm happy with these, but I really want to try out those Juentechs, so I'll be putting them on the bike in the next few miles. So yeah, there we go, little update for you. I'm certainly happy with this bike, that's for sure, but it's not been without its problems. So stay tuned for the full update. Oh, actually, I've got a few little packages here as well, a few little goodies, which I may as well show you. So give me a second and I'll pull those out too. Okay, so firstly, I've got a new crankset here. So I've shown one like this before. So this is a single piece aluminium double chainring here. So this is nice and lightweight. I think it's 7075 aluminium. So I've shown one just like this before. But the difference with this one is that both of the crank arms here are hollowed out to save a bit of weight. So for example, on this crankset here, this is a cast aluminium crank arm, but it's completely solid in there. Whereas this one, they've taken the effort to mill out these slots here to save a bit of weight. So I'm hoping this thing is going to be considerably well, more lightweight than other aluminium cranksets that I've tried. So really interested to get this on an upcoming build along with this. So I've got saddle, which is yeah, nothing that interesting, but have a look at this. It is a 3D printed carbon saddle. So it's carbon rails and carbon top, but it's got 3D printed rubber on the top. Let me just grab it. I'll see if I can show you. It's nice and squishy on the top there, but it's a 3D printed kind of honeycomb lattice in there, which is really cool. So this thing was like 70 quid on AliExpress. It's like 170 grams, I think. But yeah, it's got this like 3D printed honeycomb lattice, which is pretty awesome. So really interested to try this out on an upcoming bike build. So yeah, stay tuned for all that interesting stuff, and I'll see you later.